Okay. Boom. Did I change the frame rate? Yes, I did. You are now streaming. Alright, here we go. Alright. Y'all mute up for me. Okay. I can turn my own ringer down. Did I change the frame rate? Okay. Alright. Why, hello, 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 people. Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning to some. This is Huggie Pacino live, and we are here with our special guest this afternoon and evening, Mr. and Mrs. Pope, Kellie Pope, and Lawrence. How y'all doing this evening?
Hey, yo, what up?
Hey, what's going on, man? This is a long-awaited thing here.
Definitely. I'm like sitting here talking and I still have it on mute. Sorry.
Yeah, I think the sound is not as
Definitely.
bad. I think the sound is not as bad. So we just roll with it. I don't think you have to mute.
Okay.
So Miss Kellie Pope is a YouTuber. I wish she would go back to making videos. That you kind of been on the drought a little bit, but I really enjoyed your output on many different subjects. So my thing with you, won't you explain to the people, what you do on YouTube and where you're from and everything that you can. Go ahead.
All right. Sure. So I started making videos a little bit a year ago. What prompted me to start making videos is because I used to listen to like all of the big people. At least they're big to me. So Huggie. I used to listen to Zone. Of course, I'm a huge Tommy Sotomayor fan, and I would kind of just listen and learn from you guys. And then when Adpocalypse happened and people started getting all the channels of all the men that I supported channels down, it kind of like made me angry, and I felt like that a lot more women should be saying something and standing up to these same people, because unfortunately, or just quite honestly, I would have a better chance at not being blocked or being banned because I'm a part of that protected class, right?
Right.
So I was like, if I believe in these people, if I believe in these men, then I have to stand up for them. I have to put myself out there just like you guys have. And that's what made me want to do that. I am in Detroit, Michigan. Well, I'm from Detroit, Michigan. I'm 27. I've been married to my husband, Lawrence, since we were 18. Like, we got married pretty much straight out of high school. We got together in high school, like 10th and 11th grade.
Beautiful.
So we've been
Yes.
together for a really long time.
Yes, and I speak highly of that because not many people in this era or this generation is even thinking about that. So y'all like the rare breed compared to the 80s, 90s boom, baby boom generation. So that's beautiful to see that, 10 years ago, boom, this has happened in 2000, in the 2000 era. So I always saluted that. So that's
Thank
wonderful.
you.
And we got a lot of
It's not
people.
easy.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. We got a lot of people from Detroit. Just King 33 is from Detroit. I saw Tiffany Tatters from Detroit. We got a lot of Detroit people in here.
Oh, wow.
So say what's up, 313
East
Detroit.
side for us.
Yeah,
On the
Detroit,
east side.
The show East Side,
Yeah.
Detroit, Michigan is in here. Real deep. It's about 7 of y'all. I forgot the names. Forgive me. But yeah. So I want to speak about that whole censorship thing because you remember when it was a bunch of black male YouTubers, and some of the females was on that list. It was a couple, but it wasn't just about black males either. It was about anybody who was against a certain agenda that they didn't agree with because it was white men on that list too. And I remember the Veganator was on that list, and Sandman was on that list too from Canada. He's a white guy, and I never understood the fact that they were saying it was about black men that they didn't want on YouTube, but it wasn't really just that. It's if you were against the swirl movement. That's what it was really about. They didn't want to be honest, so that's what it was about. And you remember when that happened. So my thing was that we needed people like you and Black Natural Goddess was one of the other females that spoke up and stood up for us because it's rare that we even get that in the community because truthfully speaking, you're gonna get black men stand up for black women no matter what they do. You're gonna get that group of guys that say, hey, we're gonna stand up for y'all, we're gonna support y'all, no matter right or wrong. And my thing is that there's a few of the black guys that did not deserve to have a voice. I'm not gonna just be against the fact of them speaking some of those guys didn't need to be on YouTube. Let's just be honest here. But it was a large majority that did need it to not be silenced. So yeah, so what I want to ask you, first off, my thing I want to ask you is that when it comes down to you and your husband, how many kids do y'all have, and how many what's the oldest, their ages and everything, if y'all don't mind?
Of course. We have 4 children. Our oldest is 8, and then we have a 6-year-old, we have a 4-year-old, and we have a 1-year-old.
Right.
3 daughters and 1 son. He was the last one.
Wow. And you know something? Hey, I want to ask you something, Lawrence, if you don't mind me. You was like, you was always wondering, like, am I ever gonna get a boy? And you finally got one, huh?
That's exactly what it was. Every single girl she promised was going to be a boy. And by the time we were having a boy, she thought it was going to be a girl. So,
right. Because I know the beauty of having children. If you have more than one, you at least want both genders, so you can at least be able to experience raising both. But hey, if you have 2 girls, you have 2, boys, whatever. So, I want to ask Lawrence, what is your opinion on black people in general in America? And I'm going to speak on about America because worldwide it might be a big issue. But let's just speak on what do you think about black men in America?
Black people in general?
Black people in general. I'm sorry.
Man, well, in this day and age, it's really different because I think, and even if maybe not just black people, just a lot of younger people in general are more internet raised and TV raised than anything else. And I think, looking at like a lot of who's popular now, we definitely see that.
Right.
but
And
it's really because it's like a melding of all different eras right now, and it's definitely weird seeing the position black people are in.
Miss Kelly Poe, what do you think about black people in America?
I have something that I always say about us as Black Americans. I say that we are a lost people or people with no home, if that makes sense. I feel like we as a people in general have no idea or no context or concept of who we are. And of course, that's as a result of history, where we don't really know where we come from. And identity, I think, basically, in short, I think Black people just have an identity crisis.
Exactly. I would agree with that. And I think it comes down
Huh?
to finding our identity. I think they reach for so many things to do. They go look for things. They go search online. And as this day and age, things the box that used to be small has gotten much bigger. So now what we have is we have an open world of where we have social media, we have camera phones, we have online communities, we got ways to talk to each other at an easy access, so it's video conversations, video apps, social media, things of that nature. So when it comes down to black people, man, it's like the box has gotten bigger compared to back in the day where it was only so much you can do at one point. But now it's like, oh man, there's so many things that a child can do at 12, 13, and
Yeah.
now you can play with it, you can play against a person online, talk to a person across the other side of the country, across the country and the water, overseas, anywhere in the world. So the communication part of it is expanded to where peer pressure is now extended beyond just schools and neighborhoods where we live in. So that's what I think about that. So I want both of you all to, because I know y'all both could share an issue on this. What do y'all think about the state of the black male in general?
Well, I think Lauren should definitely go with that first, considering that he is a Black
Right.
man. So,
Now we can say what we want to say here, like, 'cause I can be honest about what we are, and I can be honest about what black women are. So I share. I go. I'm with that. But go ahead.
Man, that's a super loaded question. Black man, man, it's weird because I see culture now as really like feminine driven, to where black men are not really allowed to be black men
Right.
or just men in general. You know, where we've kind of been put into there's blackness, and as vague as that is, and there's being a man, as vague as I can be. You know,
Right. Because I was telling people, and I say it often on my channel, is that a man is responsibility. Male is gender. So I tell people all the time
yeah,
when you have to be a man, boys can't be men. Boys are just labeled as a younger, version of a male. So I tell people all the time when people say man and woman, that's responsibility. It comes with dedication, ambition, things of that nature. So when it comes down to be a black man, I think based on how things are set up, we're forced to be in a certain position where a lot of us are being raised by, and I'm pretty sure Kelly can attest to this. A lot of the black boys and black girls are being raised by single parent households,
yeah,
and they don't have both parents in the home. So when I look at YouTube, this is something I always said, like, yo, this is to be commended because you people are together, y'all young, and they say things like this don't happen. And yeah, it's very rare, but the rare thing should be celebrated. More so celebrating each other based on y'all being old and y'all having dysfunctional households. You understand? Like, well, we're pretty sure, like, when y'all look at y'all relationship, not many people are really congratulating it. Like, I always talk about it. Like, I say that this is beautiful because I had at one point I thought marriage was like a bad thing, and then I get old and I start looking like, well, marriage might not be a bad thing. Being a family person might not be that bad of an idea. If I could get somebody to think like me, then it's
Yeah.
beautiful. Or because I have a care in the world where I feel like I want to be able to have my woman in the house to have this child that we raise where they both see both of us interact. They see a male and a female because that's how it's supposed to be. And everybody's just not on that same page. So y'all on that same page, and I always salute that. So when it comes
Yeah,
to black men,
marriage.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, marriage itself isn't bad. It's who you're married to, which makes or breaks it. You know.
Word, exactly. Yeah. So Kelly,
Well,
dive in on this black man situation. I want to know what you think.
all right. And I do agree that it's kind of a loaded question. Are you talking about like the state of black men, how black men are treated in society, the roles of black men, or the lack thereof? Like, what are you asking?
We got nothing but time. Dive in on everything you just stated because it needs to be discussed. So whether all of it, as much as you could talk about.
All right. Well, personally, sorry guys, children are in their rooms playing.
No problem.
So sorry if you hear that. For me, I feel like there are a lot of children, men, children, boy, children, whatever you want to talk about, in grown men's body. I personally believe that since majority of black men are raised by women, there's really no standard of what a man should be. Like the old grandfathers who were like guys, they're not here anymore. And I don't believe that a woman can raise a man or a boy to be a man. She can raise him to be a productive member of society, absolutely. But she can only teach him what a man is from a woman's perspective, if that makes sense. So I don't feel like we have a lot of men in leadership positions for that reason, because they're raised by women. They're essentially, and no offense to black men, of course, I love you. They're essentially colonized women in some ways. And I hate to say that because the tendencies are more feminine than they are masculine, if that makes sense. Yeah. Also, I feel like that, and even I am a woman, but I feel like black men are always at the bottom. Lawrence had pointed out something, socially speaking, that if you watch any of these new age shows, anytime you see a black man in the show, he's gay. I don't care what you're watching. If he's on set with a white woman, he's typically gay.
Right.
Like we were just watching Sabrina, and there's a black guy on there. He's gay. Every TV show I've seen that's popular nowadays, the black man is not allowed to be in a place of leadership. He's always subservient to a woman, typically a white woman. Right. There's not any more TV shows or anything like that exhibit a strong black man. Those days are gone. There's no example of black male leadership, I would say. And the men that are somewhat in the visual eye, they're still ran by women.
Right. I will say that there was a show. The Carmichael show had somewhat of those qualities, and for some strange reason, Carmichael didn't want to do the show no more. He just left it alone. He didn't get canceled. He just left it alone. That show actually had like where his parents was living with him, but it wasn't a dysfunctional household. It was a funny household, and they did a lot of political talk, controversial subjects, and it was funny, and it was different. It was unique. It was like it was like our era of quote unquote, let's just say different world. I don't want to say Cosby Show. Let's just say it was more so of a different perspective.
The Cosby Show. Because that
bad idea, bad example. But
it is a good example because regardless of what Bill Cosby did, the Huxtables were the epitome of black family. They were like the average black American family. When I was growing up, that's who I wanted my parents to be. I wanted to be like the Huxtables. Exactly. So even though Bill Cosby is not someone that we admire as in a real life, it's exactly what we needed to see. Like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. even that situation where you've seen Black people painted in a positive light, whereas everything today is gangster this, is it's sex this, every sex sells everywhere. It's just ridiculous. There's no sense of family at all in any culture, and it's worse for ours as Black
Exactly.
people.
Exactly. Yeah.
And we have a huge hand in that. Like, that's something that we contribute to. We can't blame that on anybody else except for ourselves.
Exactly. And when it comes down to the Cosby Show, I wanted to. I always looked at it like, man, my household don't. It's not like this. You know what I'm saying?
I wasn't either.
Yeah, I was kind of jealous of it. Like, what the hell? And then but they gave us it gave us some sort of a kind of hope, so to speak. Because if you
Mm-hmm.
see positivity, you eventually gravitate to it. So even if you wake up and you don't see this particular household, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is somewhat motivational. You
Yeah, it
understand?
gives you something to aspire to be.
Exactly. And I hate to say it, hey, back then, in that particular era of the 80s and the 90s, for some reason, we had motivation. Even in the 70s, we had motivation. We had these shows that gave us some sort of sense of hope. Like some
Mm-hmm.
type of thing that, like, we could be proud to see something that motivates us. Because sometimes you just need that motivation. Sometimes people need the motivation to be better people. Because if you're sitting around all day around negativity, you're only going to be negative.
It's true.
It is what it is. It's like and I'm learning something real major about energy, how to block my energy, how not to give it to anybody, how not to accept it from anybody, how to be quiet, be humble. You understand? So
Hmm.
I'm learning a lot about that too. So
Yeah.
what I want to talk about with Kellie, and I'm not sure you spoke with Lawrence about that too, right? That
Did.
I want to discuss the issue because forgive me, I don't remember every single detail, right? So
Mm-hmm.
tell me about this situation with this guy and how everybody. Because I remember when it happened, people had so much to say. It was hundreds of comments. It was different page after page, and I got kind of confused because when I came around and found out about it, it was like blowing up. So would you mind touching that subject and speaking on that?
Absolutely. I appreciate you asking me about it. Um, I'll just start at the beginning. Um, so, oh, it's really difficult for me, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, take your
Just
time.
give me a sec. Um, so in 2013, just make it all short, I was sexually assaulted by my sister-in-law's then boyfriend. She later married him, and I didn't wait to tell anyone about it. I told the family immediately as soon as it happened. I did not go to the police. And a lot of people always ask me why I didn't go to the police. And I've been very open about it. And it's something that I posted about publicly. Shortly before that happened, I did have an affair. And so I felt like that because of the decisions that I made, that I wouldn't be believed. And
Mm,
so I didn't go to the police, but I did tell the family. Everybody knew when it happened. I did not wait whatsoever. But I felt like because there was no proof or anything, I had no choice but to deal with it. Um, I looked for help within my family. Like my mother-in-law, she was the one who was there when everything was, going down. And I thought, we'd be able to resolve this at the family, that they would defend me, come to my aid, just, help me with the situation. But as a result of everything that happened, I was pretty much shunned by my family, my sister-in-law.
mm,
It was a very devastating situation for me. Uh, and it even is to this day. So what I decided to do, because I wasn't going to get justice in the court of law, even though I did try, I did make a report because I talked to a police officer. He told me, even though it's been some time, the statute of limitations on sexual assault, which the type of sexual assault he committed against me, is 10 years. So he told me to just do it anyway. Just go ahead and make the report.
right.
And the prosecutor that, I was speaking with, she told me that she did not want to pursue charges because it was my word against his. There wasn't enough evidence for her to feel like she could win the case. And I
Wow.
asked her, and I offered to take a polygraph test at that point in time, and she told me no. She said that that's not something that they do. They don't believe in testing victims because they don't want that to become the standard. And
Wow.
it was something that I asked for, something that I wanted, because I'm not one of those kind of women. I don't believe that you should believe every woman. And unfortunately, even being in a situation, you know, like what I experienced, and even experiencing molestation as a child, because that was a part of my life as well.
Wow.
I was a victim of that, like many black girls and young black guys, black boys throughout their life. Um, she said I just don't believe that you should believe every woman. Should you listen? Absolutely. If you can lend an ear, sure. But should you believe everyone? No. So I believe that you should have to prove it to some degree. And if you know what I'm saying, you shouldn't just believe it. Um, and then what I decided to do, since my family wasn't going to help me, in late 2015, I decided, okay, I'm just going to tell the public about it, because I felt like it was a private matter, so it should have been dealt with within the family. But
Right.
since they didn't help me, I said, I don't know what else to do. What else can I do? So I was like, the court of public opinion can be something else. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to tell my story. I'm going to share what happened, because I'm not going to continue suffering with this. I'm not just going to deal with this myself anymore. And there are so many people who choose to never say anything, in their suffering in silence. It's a generational curse that we as black people have.
Yeah.
Molestation, sexual assault, and abuse happens so much in black families, and it's pushed under the rug. There are so many stories that you can hear from just about every black person about being touched as a child. And everyone knows about it, but no one does anything about it. And then, like, I make that post every year in April, which is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and I just tell what happened that day. And last year was no different. So I made a post. I just share it, because it comes up in your Facebook memory. So I
Right.
just reshare the
Exactly.
story. And then I talk about different things in relation to sexual assault, like statistics, things that we can do about it, to help other young girls and young boys. And if you think that there's not a lot of help for young girls, there's even less help for young boys. Young black boys can't talk about being sexually assaulted or abused, because it's just, the stigma is even worse for young black boys. But last year, because I guess I was gaining more traction with the things that I was talking about there, I was friends with a lot of men who are part of that red pill MGTOW community kind of thing. And they got upset about the post, and a lot of them dogged me. Huggy,
Yeah.
you know who I am.
Yeah.
I have 4 kids. I put my life out there. I've never hidden anything. Every bad thing about my life, I've pretty much shared for the world to hear.
Right.
Never like hidden anything. And so many men that I trusted, even women as well, that I talked to and trusted, they completely degraded me. Like it was horrible. Like
Yeah. I remember.
people that
That's
I
when.
didn't
That's
know
when
were
I
calling
showed
me
up, and I thought
names.
that was horrible. I was like, "Well, y'all gonna y'all gonna do this to this girl for speaking on something that even we can't say was true or false, but this
True.
is your story." You know what I'm saying? So you at least just say, hey, look, let's just take this as story, as face value, and just not face value, but let's just take this as what happened, but we don't know if it's true. So the problem with that is that when I saw it, and then you mentioned Macto, right? I consider myself Macto, but there's different levels of that. The extreme level is the ones that will sit here and do what they did to you.
No,
So
that hurt. When I talk, like, that's why I stopped making videos. I'm going to be straight up, totally honest, because it traumatized me the way that I was treated, considering how I put myself out there to be just putting myself out there. I wasn't hiding anything. I shared about the decisions and choices that I made that may have led up to what happened to me last year. You know what I'm saying? Because again, I'm one of those women who believe in taking ownership and accountability for the choices that you make. You know what I'm saying? I'm
right,
like, no, I couldn't go to the police because I decided to cheat on and have an affair. That was on me. And that messed up my credibility. I totally understand that. I get it, you know.
Right.
Um, However, with these men, or a lot of men, a part of the community that we are in, they've become so, I don't know what they've become, so angry and so jaded that they can't see anything else. These people who don't know, they say they don't know me as much as I've shared my life with them, but they don't know him at all. And they were coming to
Right.
his defense, calling me whores, saying the most awful things about me
Right.
ever. Like, horrible things that it just changed me, you know. And I felt like, wow, if people who I am fighting for and speaking up for can do this to me, like, I just couldn't do it anymore. It really hurt me so much, Huggy. Like, that's why I backed off, because I was like, this is wrong. Like, the way that I was treated was completely horrible, and it just traumatized me. So I stopped making videos.
And I can understand that. I kind of figured that maybe it had a lot to do with it. Like maybe she fell back because I did see that when it happened. I was looking at this like, why are these people so angry? And it was like troll pages, like they were extreme with it. Like they was, you would have swore up and down they knew the guy.
Yeah, you would
And
have.
and and so if you don't mind me asking, what? Because I remember him saying something on Facebook. What did he speak of on his Facebook page? If you
Well,
don't
I
mind.
don't know, because after, so some guy, his name is Dante Erskine. That's was his troll page, I guess. What he did, I guess, he went to speak with Ezekiel, saying that, hey, this girl's making a post about you, and I guess he thought he would just get his side of things, which is fine. Totally open book. Me, like I said, I believe that if you're gonna stand up, um, if you're gonna speak out against something, if you're gonna tell a story, you have to be ready to stand by it. You have to be ready to face scrutiny. I totally get it. Ask him what you want. I don't really care about that.
Right.
But I guess he started believing what the guy was saying, and he decided to make this whole post about me, saying that I'm crazy, that I'm a Me Too person, that I was like, I'm using my platform to undercover
Huh.
attack guys. I'm like,
And
what?
I remember that
I'm
because I was like, it was
like,
about this one guy. Like that's not what the Me Too movement is. The Me Too movement is about
exactly.
people
I'm
who.
like, I'm not into railroading men. I'm talking about something that happened to me.
Right.
It's like, even though I do stand up for men, I believe in men's rights. I believe that in today's society that men are not appreciated, and the black man is even less appreciated. I understand that, and I speak up for that because that's what I believe in. However, that does not mean that I've not been hurt. And then that does not mean that I shouldn't be able to talk about my experiences. But I am not demonizing, I am not crucifying all black men, just the one person who did something to me.
Right.
And the men of that, when they were talking about it, they were saying, oh, you need proof. You can't just accuse somebody. And I was like, well, I don't know what you want me to do. I don't know what you want me to do about it. Like, how can I prove something to you happened? So you remember, I got the polygraph test done. I went to
Right.
the Taylor Police Department here in Michigan, and I paid $500 at the police department to take a polygraph test. And I passed, and I shared those results.
And that's what I love about it.
And
Tell us what happened. I remember that.
I shared the results, and I was like, and Lawrence and I were like, okay, so we're going to share these results at the police department because I didn't have anything to hide. And then we offered to him, since you guys don't believe me, this is all I've got. I've done everything I can. I'm putting it out there. This is what happened. He refused to take a polygraph test. We told him he didn't have to pay for it. He can just, we will pay for it.
Right.
All you have to do is take it.
Just
And he
take it.
absolutely refused. He wouldn't do it. He still, to this day, will not do it. He had so much to say on Facebook because all those men were coming to his aid. I've been talking about what happened since the day that it happened. He has never once confronted me. And
Nope.
I wanted to ask something of you, Huggy, because you're a man. And and I respect you, and I know the. Okay, just ask you. So, if a woman was accusing you of something, not just a woman, but someone who's a part of your family, because you have to remember, by law, technically, this is my brother-in-law. So, if a family member, a woman, was accusing you of doing something to her, aren't you going to go to her and say, "Excuse me, what did you say I did?"
Yeah.
You're not just going to sit here and let her accuse you of something you didn't do, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna confront you on that.
He never has.
Yeah, he won't. And
Never
you
will.
offer to pay for his proof that if he didn't do anything, then take the polygraph. But see, what you did was you
Exactly.
put the pressure on him even more because, hey, mine passed. Let's see if you pass.
He wouldn't. And that's the thing. So
Now
it was like,
that's what made me comfortable about the whole thing. Is he wasn't willing to do
yeah,
it, and you showed it.
he
So
wouldn't do it.
that's proof to me.
And I paid for it. I did everything I said. I believe that if you're gonna accuse somebody of something, you better be ready. You better be ready to have something to back it up. And I've always believed that there's no price you can put on the truth. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
This is the problem. And just circling back to Me Too, this is why I have a whole problem with this Me Too movement. Is because these accusations of these people, I feel like false accusations make it very difficult for people who've really had these experiences to be believed. You
Exactly.
cannot have sex with somebody for a job, for a part in a movie, or something like that, you know, excuse me, or, take part in a movie and then come back 30 years later and say, oh, well, he forced me to do it. You cannot do that. You can't say that someone did something to you and then take the money and then come back 30 years later and
Right.
I'm a victim. And
Exactly.
that's what happened to Bill Cosby. That's why he's in jail right now.
Right.
Because that lady who got him, she took like $4 million. So now you have everybody in the world looking at women sideways because of these women, excuse me, because of these women who are making faulty choices with their logic in their life, and men are being railroaded for it.
Exactly. And it's not
So
fair to
now
people like you.
this is why I backed off too, because I totally understood why the men. It's crazy, Huggy, because I was like, I understand why they feel the way that they do, because there's so many women out here who lie. I get it. I totally understand. You know,
Right.
but it's like, where do you find that balance? And this is what I'm asking to you as a man. Like, where do you find the balance?
Well, the balance is this. When it comes to men, especially men of color, we feel like, oh, we finally got a voice, and sometimes those guys abuse the voice, and they feel like none of y'all could tell the truth, even if y'all bring an accusation. We want hardcore proof. So my thing with that is, when you finally put this out there, was there anybody, like, how many people came and apologized to you?
None.
None. Now that's fucked up. Excuse my French.
And there's so many people, Huggy. There's so many people that who knew,
Let me.
who like were always like,
I don't mean to cut you off because I want to say this
no,
so I
it's fine.
forget it. The
Mhm.
thing that you just told us, how they didn't apologize, that's what happens when the women accuse us and we prove that we didn't do it, but they don't apologize. So
Mhm.
I tell this to the men: if you see this interview, right, all of you who accused her of lying, you got your proof because this person said no and she said yes and proved it. You
Yep.
owe that for yourself. You owe that to her to apologize. If any of you did that, because like I said, I couldn't speak on it because I don't know. Yeah, but I came in and I eventually sat back because you know me, I'm observative. I like to sit back, I like to
Mhm.
wait, and I figure things out. Let me see what's going on here. And I was kind of glad you went that far because,
Oh, I'm willing to go further. I feel like there's no price. There's no price, Huggy. If
right,
I'm gonna stand up for you as a man, and I'm a woman, you know what I'm saying, and I'm gonna say I believe in men's rights. Why wouldn't I believe? Why wouldn't I be willing to go to any lengths to prove that I'm telling the truth, considering the type of platform I wanted to have, to
exactly,
where I can stand up for you or stand up with you, not for you, but with you.
right,
You know what I'm saying? So I'm willing to go even, it doesn't matter how far, because there's no price you can put on it. No price that you can put on my name. Because at the end of the day, if I lost everything, all I have is my reputation.
exactly. Lawrence, what do you think
Yeah.
about all of this that we're talking about from your point of view?
The Me Too movement, or
Every
the situation between us and our family.
Yeah, the situation. If you don't mind.
No, I don't mind at all. Um, it's been a very unfortunate learning experience. Um, it's it's kind of, I wouldn't, it's not heartbreaking for me because shitty people do shitty things, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not surprised that he hasn't or will never come out and admit to anything. That's not surprising at all.
Right.
The person he's married to is my sister.
Exactly.
You know, and Kellie is the one who had a relationship with my sister. When I first met Kellie, and she will tell you, there's only one thing I told her when I first met her. Oh, I'm you the chat. Okay, so tell them what I told you when we first got together.
The very first time that I met his mother, met his sister, the first thing that he ever said to me was, do not trust them. They are fake. Do not talk to them. They are fake. And me being who I am, which is the social butterfly, I'm like, yeah, you're just saying that. Whatever.
Right.
I wish I would have listened to him.
Right. And for disclosure, I'm pretty much with you on that, Lawrence. Because I kind of share, that same situation. Like, you know, my mom's sister, don't trust them. No. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, and the hurtful thing about it is that, you know, at the end of the day, the other person in the situation is, you know, a sister. You know,
right?
We share the chances. It's not like and to tie this with the MeToo thing. It's not like something happened and we might never see the guy again, or, you know, who knows, you know, anything like that. There's a high chance of us, if we were, you know, deep involved in our family, or I went over to my mom's all the time, I can't control whether or not I would see my sister, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
However, I don't have a relationship with my sister. This is probably the most times I ever called her my sister and just talking about it in general at all.
That's bad. Very bad. But I feel you. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah, but because I can't make something happen without doing something outside the law, you know what I'm saying? And exactly. What would that fix for my wife, you know? And a lot of people would always say, well, what did I do, you know? Well, there's really only one thing I would do. But then what would happen to Kellie after that? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'd be in jail, and then what? That's just another issue in our lives to add to the pot. And just recently, you know, we were having a conversation with my mother about it, and we've constantly still are trying to resolve this issue to, you know, bring it out.
Exactly.
And he has also refused to just have a regular conversation about it.
Yeah.
And we can prove that.
Yeah, it'd be nice if he, you know, somewhere, if y'all could send this to him. Can y'all send this to him? Is that possible?
I mean, you're more likely to be able to send it to him because we obviously have no contact. You were completely blocked from everything, which is, you know, fine. But you could send it to him. I'm sure there's a way to make everybody see anything. However, I just need, if you don't mind, I'm sorry, honey, to add on to that. What's worse is how, you know, how the liberals and stuff will say that there's a rape culture, right?
Right.
No one propagates rape culture than women.
And I was actually just about to say, the biggest person at the center of everything besides him is my sister. That's the one who's standing right next to him.
Yeah, she's the enabler, as well as.
And you can't. And for some reason, she wants to have a relationship with me and my children. Why would I? You know, that's absolutely insane. You can't. And the thing is that they would rather just not talk about it, or just put it as a situation of, well, you know, your husband or her husband and your wife don't need to be in the same room, but we can all be a family, whatever. That's sweeping it under the rug.
Exactly.
That's where you get situations where people think there's a rape culture, or you have R. Kelly instances or Bill Cosby instances, because for some odd reason, if one person is willing to put themselves on the line for 10 other people, those 10 people won't do the same.
Exactly. And that's the bad part about it. I talked about this. I want to speak about the R. Kelly thing, but this whole R. Kelly thing is filled with enablers galore. They're everywhere.
Yep.
Even the women are enablers of this whole piece of nonsense. It's a lot of connected. It's not a dots to connect. It's a lot of people, a lot of victims, and technically half of them aren't victims. I'm just gonna keep it real, cause if y'all felt like they were victims, then a lot of it was consensual sex. You knew what type of person this dude was. It's kind of like you allowed yourself to be held captive because you knew what he did prior. You've already knew. Now, I'm not saying all of them, because some of these girls are clueless. And every single one of them got the same story. He was going to do XYZ. He was going to help me with this. There's never been like one of these girls, and maybe I'm wrong, there's never been one girl that said, you know what, he just wanted to be with me, and it was just all about me. But why are you in his home living there? Why can't you go home? Why can't you go to your apartment and y'all have this relationship and he be, let's say, abusive or mistreating you when y'all in separate homes? No money involved. No mutual agreements. You understand? No benefits.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why is that? I've never heard that story from R. Kelly. There's always something connected. Like, he promised you this, or he promised you that, or he's gonna do this, he's gonna do that. Like, at least with Cosby, there's at least one girl who just actually had sex with him. A few girls that actually did have sex with him. He didn't offer them, something. All of them, he didn't offer them everything with every one of them. He didn't offer everything to everyone. So that's the thing. But I want to ask y'all, have y'all seen the R. Kelly documentary?
No, I actually don't even know where the hell it's at. Is it on Netflix or something?
It was on Lifetime. I actually, like, personally, I'll send you all the episodes via email, and y'all can watch them later.
But I had no interest to watch it because it's like, the thing with that is, like, it's not like we're learning some new ass information. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, it's a lot of new information. Like, there's, like, you remember Sparkle?
Oh no, who was that?
The girl that had the song "Be Careful," the one that had the niece that was in the tape. The auntie, which is the auntie of the girl that was in the tape. That was her niece that was in the tape with R. Kelly, where he was peeing on her.
Oh, word.
Yeah, Sparkle is the one. You better be careful what you say to me. That's Sparkle. I learned something new, that she was always around, even when Aaliyah was around. She was the first backup singer from the beginning. And we're talking about 91, 92. So she been there the whole time, and she brought her niece around. I thought her niece just came around. I thought Sparkle was like a new face. I thought Sparkle was just coming along, and around the time, 98, 99, when he had the double album out, it was like the Woman's Fed Up song was like a spinoff of... The Woman's Fed Up song was a set tone for his single, and then Be Careful was a spinoff of that video and that song. So it was made to put her album out and promote her. But if you've been around since day one, you knew this guy was a monster. You didn't do shit. Now you brought your niece around, so you offered your niece to this guy, claiming out of your mouth you thought she was in good hands with him. That's sick. You knew, and you did nothing, and you allowed. It's not like he snuck and went and got this girl. You brought her around with the hopes of getting her put on, which is another benefit. Again. So it's like, it's always some benefit to this. Every time R. Kelly is doing whatever he's doing, there's always a benefit. And I'm not excusing R. Kelly's, actions. But we got, like you mentioned.
That's a stance that people need to take.
Yeah, like Kelly mentioned, you got to be held accountable for something. You can't just...
Yeah.
And another thing I want to say, and this is going to ruffle some feathers. We talk all this crap about black women are strong, with this, with that, and we don't need... So now we're throwing in the same sentence a group of women that by majority, if we want to be honest, by the majority, now we're throwing this title around brainwashing. What would be the word? Brainwashing is one. uh, abusing, mental abuse. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
what was the other psychological? Oh, I forgot. Psychological abuse. And for some strange reason, they say, well, sometimes they say it's easier to just walk away and leave. But we're watching on the documentary in the last episode where this girl can simply just open the door and walk out. She won't. The police there, they won't open the door. And they see the girl through the window. She won't leave. But that's the same situation with Sparkle's niece. You brought this girl around, you're an enabler. The other girl was friends with Aaliyah. She's an enabler. She's also friends with Sparkle. Both of them are friendly enablers. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's always connect. There's always dots to connect in the whole story. And it's sad because they're crying. They're talking about this, that, and the third. And I'm like, if you did something about Aaliyah and stopped that, even after the fact, if you did something about R. Kelly then, there would be no Sparkle's niece. There would be no tape. There would be no group of women. There would be no. There wouldn't be. That wouldn't even be the wife. The Angela is her name. Angela, Angie, Andrea. There would be no Andrea Kelly. That wouldn't exist if you did something about Aaliyah. And that's the same thing with Cosby. All these victims wouldn't exist if you stopped it at least 1, 2, or 3 and did something. Because trust me, there's guys that do get charged and do get caught and then go to jail and get convicted. But imagine if they didn't. Because if you let a person do something over and over and over, if they feel like they can get away with it, they're gonna keep doing it. And I love throwing this point out. That's why John Dillinger is a famous bank robber. He kept doing it and got away with it over and over, and he's known for being a professional bank robber. Because he kept getting away with it, and that's what happens.
Well, it's with this whole R. Kelly. The only reason I said I refused to watch it because I feel like it is just something that's not, it's not something new. I posted, you remember, I posted on my Facebook page the other day, is they've been talking about how R. Kelly's been into young girls since as long as I can remember. That's the Fiesta. You remember that song, Fiesta, Fiesta? Remember that song?
Yeah.
They got a song, Molester, Molester. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Lil Wayne did that.
Yeah, you got so many people making skits off of the R. Kelly peeing on people. Dave Chappelle did a whole thing about it. And it was hilarious and people pushing out a rug. It had been rumors for years that he married Aaliyah with her mother's consent at 15.
Word.
And no one's saying that what R. Kelly did is okay. No one's saying, oh, he's the person that you want to look up to. No one's saying that. What we are saying is that their parents are the reason that they happened to them. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Their parents need to be held accountable. They shouldn't have been dropping their kids off at R. Kelly's house.
Right.
I don't care if he's trying to put you on. Why not put you on during business hours? Why do you have to go to his house?
Exactly.
It's the family. It's everybody. You want to consider 15, 16 years old a young girl. To be totally honest, young girls were already dating 20, 21-year-olds when they were 15 and 16. I'll be honest and say when I was 16 before, for a short time after Lawrence and I broke up, I had a boyfriend and he was 22. So it's not something that's new, and it was my choice.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you 15, 16, you're old enough to know right from wrong. And I'm not saying that you should be able to sleep with, young people. I'm not saying that at all. Right. But I'm saying they're not innocent children. They're not 5-year-olds.
Right. And I'm sick of saying
it's a real conversation that needs to be had about how young girls do chase grown men. And I understand that they're adults, but you can't guess someone's age. If I tell you that I'm 21, what else are you supposed to do with that? You don't know. You don't know me. I could just have a young face or whatever. How are you supposed to know? Exactly.
You're not supposed to know. I had a situation where, this is the thing. Like, people got to start. We got to stop saying that a 14-year-old don't know no better.
That's not true.
A 14-year-old commits murder. Nobody's gonna say, "Oh, they don't know no better." Let's not lock them up.
And they can be charged as an adult. I say the same thing.
So we put a certain situation, because last time I checked, If a person is dating an older male at 27, at 15, and if a 15-year-old commits murder, do we look at that and downplay it compared to having a consensual sex with an older male? Because I think this consensual sex, even though it's illegal and it's not cool, it's not as bad as murder. And we'll downplay murder. Are we willing to do that? Because in most cases, a 15-year-old in most states will get juvenile. They won't even get adult time. They'll hold them to the 18 or 21 and let them go to the public. Nothing on their record as an adult. Juvenile record. Boom. You know what I'm saying? There's a rapper running around here right now that committed murder as a juvenile, and he's home. He's home. You know what I mean? He didn't get child as an adult. He wasn't old enough. You know what I mean? So
well, and not only that, look, check this out, and how crazy. I said this whole situation with R. Kelly, it shows our hypocrisy as a society, and I think it'll have more detrimental effects than we realize. For example, you're telling me that a 15, hey, go even lower, 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old can't consent to sex, right? Yeah. How if she was to have sex and she was able, and she got pregnant, no one's not is going to say, oh, she's not old enough to take care of that baby. She has to give the baby up for adoption. So this same person who's not old enough to make the decision to have sex is somehow old enough to make the decisions over somebody's life for the next 18 years? How does that make sense? And not only that, let's go even deeper about the fact that we're telling children as young as 3, 4, 5, and 6 that they can't, and I'm not, put this out here right now, I'm not advocating pedophilia. I am not advocating pedophilia.
Disclaimer.
Putting that out there.
Exactly. My disclaimer as well. Go ahead, I feel you.
We are telling these children they're not old enough to have sex. They're not old enough to do that, but you're telling me that they're old enough to make the decision whether or not they're boys or girls, to have sex changes that'll make them sterile for the rest of their life, can increase their risks of cancer, of suicide. So they're old enough to decide, oh, I'm gay, or I'm a girl, but I want to be a boy, or I'm a boy, but I'm really a girl inside of inside of a boy's body. Make that make sense.
Exactly.
Don't.
Go ahead. What you been saying, Lawrence?
I said don't. It doesn't.
Okay. And that's the thing. So when we sit back and talk about this whole thing, and yeah, truthfully, I want to read what somebody wrote. A 12-year-old, a 13, 14, this is 17. Yeah, they can be manipulated, but manipulation is one thing, and curiosity is another. So my thing is that's where parents come into play. This is why we need responsible parents, because I'm gonna be honest with you, the fact that I'm looking at these parents in this documentary, they are so hardcore trying to get their kids back or get their kids to come back home. You weren't acting that way when you gave them up, because I'll be the one to tell you, I heard about R. Kelly in '94 when it came down to Aaliyah, right? In '96 my daughter's not coming around R. Kelly. You not even I'm not even. Would you? R. Kelly couldn't step in my house. Me and R. Kelly, no. Like, I love your music, but you're not coming around my daughter, because I know what you're capable of doing. That's obvious. We're talking about 6, 7 years later. These people was like, man, my child, blah blah. Like one girl was like, she didn't even know her daughter was with R. Kelly, which means that this parent had no idea this girl was even doing what she was doing with any other guy. If she's able to go, think about this, y'all. If she's able to go with R. Kelly at a random day, imagine how many times she's done that with random guys. Because I know the girl didn't say, I'm a virgin, let me go fuck R. Kelly. No, she's probably been doing that, sneaking out the house, you don't know where she's at, and boom, this particular day, she's with R. Kelly. Not Mario or John or Tim or whatever. You know what I mean? And that's what we don't say. We don't think like that. That girl ain't been sneaking out the house just all of a sudden. That girl been doing that. And trust me, like you said, Kelly, every one of us have went to school and we've seen the young girls date older men. It was a girl I was talking to at 16. I was 15, the girl was 16. And she wouldn't, we was friends, but she wouldn't talk to me because she said that she'd rather talk to somebody that's in college. 16 years old. In Tennessee, age of consent is 18. Now, granted, I remember that because I didn't. I said I talked. I did a video about age of consent. Did y'all know the majority of the states in the country, age of consent is 16 and 30 plus states?
Yes, it's 16 in Michigan. My parents couldn't put my then boyfriend in jail because of the police told them like she's 16, she can date and be with who she wants.
Thank you. I'm glad I brought that around because you mentioned it earlier, and I was like, it's not illegal in Michigan.
No.
So I remember the states. I remember them like the map. I know the map because in the Midwest, a lot of them are like 17, 16, and then in the bottom is Tennessee and Virginia. That's 18, and everything surrounds these two states 16. Mississippi, Arkansas, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, uh, North Carolina. All these are 16. Tennessee and Virginia is the only thing that's 18, and they're surrounded by 16-year-old states.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like an officer had told me, because we had a talk about like certain stuff like registration, we were just talking, and he mentioned this story about this guy that took a girl from Memphis. It was a story they had where the police, guy, parent wanted to go get their daughter and find out where their daughter was, and they knew the guy that picked her up or whatever. And they were like, legally, you can, because in Memphis, we're like close to the state line of Mississippi and Tennessee. So Mississippi is 16, Tennessee is 18. Keep that in mind. This man said that it is legal to take this girl from Memphis, take her to South Haven, Mississippi, which is minutes away, depending on where you are. Because we was at this Walmart on Elvis Presley, which is literally 2 lights from there is Mississippi state line. He said if you take her to State Line Road to a hotel, it's perfectly legal. You can bring her back and you won't go to jail. You can only go to jail for kidnapping if it's a certain amount of time. And he said, as crazy as these laws is, he said, that's one thing that I can't accept as a father, as a police officer, that it is that simple to do something that's legal and to avoid legalities from one state to the next. He said that's the dumbest thing in the world. He said, why can't all the states say 18? Why can't all the states say 16? Why do they put a stipulation where people in one section can go right here and do something? It's kind of like you can go to the Mexico border, boom, can't touch you. Now the people in Mexico got to do something to you. You see what I'm saying? So it's weird. It's weird. And I didn't even know that. That's the first time I ever heard it when he brought it to my attention. So I went home and immediately looked it up, and I was like, why is age consent in 30 plus states, and that's still more 17 than 18? I think it's like 18-year-old states, is 8 of them, 8 or 9 maybe, compared to 13 or 14. I'm losing the count. Don't quote me on it. But it's like 13 some states that's 17. Texas is one of them. I remember that. But it's crazy, like how we have this thing, you know what I'm saying, where children are now being accepted as brides. I just did a video, Super Slide 75. Found an article yesterday where you can go overseas and eventually you're gonna be able to get child brides and bring them to the country and you can marry them. Like, that shit is sick. But
well, that's becoming a thing here. Lawrence had pointed out there's a little girl boy who dresses in drag and goes to like parades, and it's horrible.
There was
and what else you realize is that history just repeats itself.
Wow.
There was one video of that.
Pedophilia is I'm sorry, honey.
There was one video of that same boy you're talking about. He was in a gay club, and the gay men were throwing money at him.
Man, I know what you're talking about. The skinny one, right?
Yeah.
Throwing money at him, and they thought that was cool to write in the article, yo.
And I remember having a conversation with someone on Facebook about this very thing. It was an article about why parents, or why there should be more children at gay parades or something like that. And I'm like, that is an open window to pedophilia. Because
they really said that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like it should be a fucking family event or something like that.
Wow.
And I said, okay, and this can be a spicy take. I don't really care. Wow. I know my wife knows a family friend who got busted for, doing things to little boys, and he was like a karate instructor. Mm-hmm. If you take away that those were children he did that to, you would still say he was a gay man.
Mm.
That's how I feel. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
I don't think that for me. It's a really big jump to just say that a guy is straight and then just all of a sudden he just takes a dip in a little boy.
Wow.
He's probably already been feeling feelings towards men. You know what I'm saying? I think mostly towards pedophilia. It's more like a predatory thing, or just ease of access. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I'm going to read what Chase and Truth just said. Chase and Truth said that she did a story on that kid, and he now has a website for drag kids. That is sick.
Yeah.
That is sick, yo. That's the open
thing
door.
is, people, Huggie, history, we have to remember that there's nothing new on this earth except for the people, in the sense that the generations change. But everything that happens, it just recycles. It's just like there was a point in history where homosexuality was accepted, and then it became unacceptable. And then there was a point in history where pedophilia was acceptable. It was called pederasty. It was actually huge in the Roman Empire. You know, they had boys that they had sex with, and then they had wives, you know what I'm saying? And it was something that was accepted as a part of society. Just like now, having babies before you're a certain age is deemed as shameful. At one point in history, that was commonplace. You know, history just keeps repeating itself. So eventually, homosexuality will phase out again and no longer be acceptable, and then pedophilia will become something that's acceptable. And the way that they do it is by using these terms like transphobic and homophobic and et cetera, et cetera. That's how they do it. It's a slow process, but eventually it will be made acceptable.
Right.
You know, and that's how they do it, because they'll pull this whole, oh, what I do doesn't affect you, what I eat doesn't make you poop. But I always say I don't believe that whole term, what I eat doesn't make you poop, because I'm still affected by your waste. I still have to smell it. It still affects the environment. Yeah, no, it doesn't make, what you eat doesn't make me poop, but when you poop, you know, it still affects me. You know, I'm still affected
No
by
pun
the choices
intended.
that you.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
Hey.
I'm so affected by your life choices, regardless of if your direct actions don't affect me. Everything that we do in this world affects us either directly or indirectly.
Right.
And that's something we have to think about. Our children are watching us. And if we think our generation is bad, what do our children have to look forward to?
Exactly.
Yep.
And even, I don't even know what to do. I'm like in my kid's ear. Lawrence and I are very proactive, especially with our 8-year-old, because she's extremely intelligent and she's really tech savvy. Like, the child was able to navigate a cable TV show remotes and stuff like that when she was like 3 and 4. She was able to like buy movies on TV.
Whoa.
So it'd be easy for her to get into a position, like, she loves YouTube. But it's easy for her to end up in a place where they're talking about inappropriate stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's really hard to protect your children these days. And I feel like it's just going to get worse.
Exactly. Wow.
And this is where the family dynamic is so important. I wouldn't know what to do if I didn't have my husband. You know what I'm saying? Even though, like, our marriage, we've been together for a really long time, but we've had no guidance whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yes, my mom is married, and she's been married to my stepdad for years. However, no offense to my mom and my dad, because he's the only dad I've ever had, really. But their marriage is not something that I looked to for guidance, if that makes sense. Everything that Lawrence and I have done, that we've accrued, all the knowledge that we have has been gained by trial and error. Right. So we're pretty much in this on our own. We are doing life together. We are doing life together with our kids. We're all pretty much growing up together. You know, we're still married because we made up a long time ago that we wanted our kids to have their mom and dad. We both know what it's like not have our fathers in our lives and how that affected us. And I one thing that we do need to talk about more, and I don't know how to approach the subject from the perspective of a black man, but it is so important for men to be involved in the lives of their daughters, especially.
Right.
It is so important. I was scared about having a son because I was like, I don't know what to do with a boy. Like, what am I going to do with him? And I'm so happy that I have Lawrence, that balance. And I feel like that's what men do for women, because we are so extremely emotional. As logical as I am, I'm a crybaby, Huggie. I cry at the drop of a dime, I swear. And he provides that balance for me.
That's
He
common knowledge.
provides balance. Huh? What?
I said
I'm
that's
sorry.
common knowledge that you're a crybaby.
Shut up.
Women are supposed to be emotional. There's some women that's running around here that try to act tough. There was one person, I ain't gonna say her name, but she was acting real tough one day, and then all of a sudden she just got emotional and fuck that, and I was like, stop trying to be tough. Like that's like the balancing that's the balancing you. Like, just be emotional, let it out, be natural. Stop trying to fight the emotion. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I listen. There's nothing wrong with being emotional to a certain extent as a male or a female, but let it out, because sometimes that's stress. You build up stress, and if you don't let it go, it kills you slowly. You know what I'm saying? So for real, so cry, be emotional. It's a natural thing, and a man's supposed to gravitate to your emotions, being sad or crying or whatever, because we're supposed to be the ones to comfort you. Like, yo, this is the balance that men and women have. Like, there's some things that men need that remind us of what we are, and there's some things that women need from us that don't remind them of what they are. Like, we need each other. And that's why I said, like, if I ever did this interview, I need both of y'all here, because that's something to be proud to see, especially young people, especially going through what happened. You know what I'm saying? And y'all still here. You know what I'm saying? And y'all got a beautiful family, and I commend that. And what I'm gonna do is, when this is over, send me that guy's information. I'll send it to him. Hopefully he'll be man enough to come back, and we can have an open dialogue. Since he's not willing to do it the way you want to do it.
I don't foresee that. I don't foresee that, considering that he has done everything to avoid it in the privacy. Like, remember, Lawrence had brought it up earlier that we had offered because in April, when it comes around, I am going to talk about it again, because April is the opportunity I use to talk about sexual abuse amongst Black people, because it's high in our communities. It's something that is destroying our communities, especially young boys and girls. And one thing we didn't get, that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about boys and the experiences they have and how it leads up to how men treat women growing up. There's a lot of boys who've been molested and raped by women, and they grow up hating women. You know what I'm saying? But boys don't have the outlet to talk about that. But anywho, we're going to talk about that in April. But he's not going to do that because he's avoiding it. He has no reason to talk about it. And then also, I wanted to tell you, and I wanted to talk to you about this and bring something, because I believe that you're logical, and talk to Lawrence about it as well. It's like, what is the benefit in me lying about something about like this? You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of men were saying, oh, you're just lying for your platform. And I'm like, what? Like, are you kidding me right now? And I'm like, I'm a married woman. Can you imagine what would happen to my family if I were lying about something like this? Do you think that Lawrence would stay with me? Like, seriously?
Hell no. And then another thing. What benefit? Because you could have ran with this and just went to YouTube and just started one big movement, and it would have grew. By now, you probably would have had thousands of people behind you. You step back. That made you run. Like, let me leave this alone, because nobody's on your side. They coming at your neck.
Yeah, it hurt.
And then you prove your point, and none of them came to say, you know what, I was wrong. I'm sorry for that. And y'all need to throw more than an apology out there. Y'all gotta make it clear that y'all a bad representation of people who have a certain mission. Like, MeToo is not one of these things that's supposed to be where we bully women or we go off on women. Just like Ibmore, we're not supposed to be about going against women. Like, our opinion is our opinion. Our criticism is our criticism, but we shouldn't be against you all, meaning that we don't want you. We want you, so we want better. Just like we should want better of ourselves. So, but we're not, as men, as a black man in general, I'm not looking for no man to date me. I'm looking for a woman of color. So if I'm looking for a woman of color, then I'm gonna call out what I see as a problem. Because this is what I have to experience with. This is I have to bump into this every day. I have to come out to the public and I have to see what I have to interact with the opposite sex. And I'm gonna say something. I'm not gonna be silent about that. And I expect women to do the same thing when it comes to us. Because if it don't apply to me, I don't care if you have something negative to say about 10 men you met this week that were problem, that had some issues or something you don't like, or they're disrespectful to you, or they're, abusive, or whatever the case may be. If you have that to say, that's your right as a person with opinion, and you have an issue with those 10 guys. I'm not gonna be like, oh, you shouldn't talk about black men. No, talk about black men, because god damn it, we got issues too. We fucked up out here.
Yep.
So it is what it is. I'm not gonna be like, I'm not mentally fucked up. I'm not the R. Kelly type. So I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that there's not there's thousands of R. Kellys in the world.
If not millions.
If not millions. There's a bunch of them. There's a lot of men who probably wish that could be R. Kelly and get away with the things they get away with. Just being honest here.
There would be more. If it wasn't illegal, there would be a lot more.
Yeah. Yep. And let me also say, there's a lot of black women who probably still sleep. Not saying probably, fuck that. There's a lot of women who will still sleep with R. Kelly tonight.
Oh, we know this. He just had a sold out show the other day, or like yesterday, or something like that.
And they were in the club.
Sales are going up now.
And this is what I want. See, I wanted to talk. I wanted to go gun ho with. I wanted to go in with my guy Curtis, but he had to work today. Let's just be honest here. If it wasn't for the women of color, R. Kelly would be dead career-wise a long time ago. Let's just be honest here.
Yep.
We don't want to say that. I ain't heard nobody say that yet. If it wasn't for black women, that man would not exist today. So fighting right now, it's irrelevant. He's what, 50? How old is he? 50 now? 52?
Yeah.
I mean, eventually he's not going to be able to jump around the stage, and he's not going to be quote-unquote looking sexy at 60. Like, nobody thinks when you see, for example, nobody thinks when you see Charlie Wilson, you think sex appeal. He just sings. He's old. Like, it's the guy, the Gap Band. Like, come on, yo. Like, nobody, he's not gonna be Ron Isley. And Ron Isley's done a lot of fucked up shit too. But nobody's gonna be thinking, in the next 10 years, nobody's gonna care about R. Kelly. In general. So this stuff right here has now impacted the fact that we're not really into him no more. So now we don't care. But let's just keep it real. There's some black women right now, at any chance they get, and I'm not saying a lot of y'all, they would sleep with that dude tonight. And if he paid you, if you thought about he'll get paid. He's 55. Hell, let's say he's 55. What's up, Lamar? 55 years old. So he's knocking on 60 in 5 years. They still gonna be like, if he paid you and brought you in his house, you're going with him.
And that's the problem with, I don't understand that about us as a black people. Like, we're willing to put ourselves in such a negative place for money. Like, forget respect, forget dignity, forget pride, all of it we're willing to sacrifice for some money. And I don't understand that. I really don't. So many of these people are willing to put their daughters in horrible situations, and their sons, because we can't forget that there's a huge thing like that in Hollywood where young boys have to put themselves out if they want to come up. So we can't forget about that either. But why are we willing to do that for the sake of fame and money?
Right.
And that's something that's really prevalent in our communities. We say that we're not the stereotypes that the world sees, but yet we have people like Tiffany Haddish. And I'm not saying she's a bad person. I'm just saying she's like the epitome of the stereotype of the black woman. Loud, obnoxious, just like she's nasty. Like, the way that she talks is completely inappropriate, and that's what we support. But when you bring that up and say, oh, black women are loud and obnoxious and over sexualized, and quick to say, oh, not all. Like,
right. Yeah, like, why we gotta say not all?
But that's what the world sees.
Yeah,
this is what the world sees. If the only interaction that you've had with black Americans is via TV, you don't really have a high opinion or much to go off of.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And last but not least, with this whole R. Kelly situation, with you, Huggie, I apologize.
No, go ahead.
Is this. You guys notice, right? When this whole Me Too thing started, you had people like Harvey Weinstein, that guy from the news, the white guy who was just like completely inappropriate. They had him on
Matt Lauer.
Matt Lauer, that guy.
Yeah.
Like these big ultra liberal dudes, just messing with women up and down, right?
Mm-hmm.
But peep this. Who are the only people who have gone to jail over this? You know? Who are the people that they have at the forefront? You don't notice, or I've noticed, that they're trying to in the face of sexual harassment, rape, and sexual abuse. Didn't nobody peep that? Even though it started with Harvey Weinstein. I didn't see Harvey Weinstein go to jail. But Bill Cosby did.
Right. Hey, you know something? Like, I don't mean to cut you off. Guess what I found?
Oh, you're good. Go ahead.
John Legend had recently took a picture with Harvey Weinstein. And he has the nerve to be in this documentary talking about R. Kelly's a monster. Ain't that strange? So I guess you could...
Well, my thoughts on that, how I feel about that is... And to go back a little bit further to what we were all talking about, and the accountability aspect, is that the one thing about those people like R. Kelly is that I'm 100% certain he talked to people who knew about what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just R. Kelly himself, and they were just all coming in, and it's just he's the only person there, and it's just all the chicks. There are other dudes there. There are other women there who may not be participating, but they know. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And those chicks that he did whatever to, they told people. So beyond the victims and the victimizers, there are always people on the outside who know, who don't say anything.
Yeah.
And there are probably more people on the outside than there ever are the people on the inside. Now, to bring that back to what you just said, the whole Harvey Weinstein thing is, I'm 100% certain that Harvey Weinstein has way more connections to get away with things than Bill Cosby or R. Kelly.
I'll tell you what it is.
And
Harvey's a Jew. He's a Jewish guy.
Yeah.
True.
And there was some documentary we were watching. No, I was watching. Damn it. Because if Kelly watched it, she would probably remember. I don't remember shit. We were watching some documentary on Netflix about some group of black kids. Something was happening or whatever, and it was produced by Harvey Weinstein and Jay-Z. And Jay-Z was in the documentary, and Obama was filmed in the documentary, and a whole bunch of other people were filmed in the documentary. And it was like relatively recently, right? And it's like all these people have connections. I think Oprah was photographed with Harvey Weinstein and things like that. Mm-hmm. They will go to bat for the people who have control over their careers.
Right.
R. Kelly, I mean, whose career does he? Who is R. Kelly over?
Nobody.
No one that I think of. Who is and Bill Cosby at the time over?
Nobody.
Not in this day and age. Maybe years and years ago.
I'm pretty sure in the 90s he had his hand on. I think he had his hand on a lot of those people with Different World and different actors and stuff.
But not now, which is why they are comfortable with just letting him take all the bullets, because they've already made the money they wanted to make. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the white liberals, Matt Lauer, James Franco was another guy. Well, not even really doing anything. It's so weird, this Me Too movement in Hollywood. It's sometimes they're like extreme things like Harvey Weinstein, and sometimes they're like just stupid shit like, oh, he talked to me a certain way, or he touched my shoulder or some shit like that.
Yeah.
But like the major thing is like, it's always like a network of people who know that guy is doing something. You know, it's never just Harvey Weinstein and whoever he's trying to do something with, and nobody else knows.
Right.
I feel like the only people worse than the people who commit crimes are the people who allow it to happen. Because
Right.
I feel like all the women with any situation, and like, well, it was like what 15 women that came out with Bill Cosby and saying that he did all these things to him. If only one of them would have just took it and said, you know what, I've had enough. I'm not dealing with this. This is it. They could have stopped it. I feel like we have a responsibility as a community, especially as women, to stop this, especially when it happens to children. But it goes on for years and years, all the way back to our grandmas. You know, they just used to say, oh, put that on the rug, or, you know, let God handle it, or we're not going to talk about that. Or they just hid it all together. That is something that's ingrained in our communities.
Exactly.
Just this, we have a culture of silence in Black communities. There is a tendency to have a culture of rape, silence, abuse in Black communities because we never talk about stuff.
And in regards to me and Kelly and our situation that we were just talking about with my sister and her husband, we can both say that both of our mothers have said those exact things to us.
Right.
To just let it go and let God handle it.
Exactly. And that's not acceptable, because that's a lot of that goes on right now. And somebody somewhere is listening to this, or going to listen to this, and they're gonna say, I need to say something, because if you don't say something, it's not going to stop, and you're not going to save the next life.
Mm-hmm. And not just that. Imagine, okay, so one thing we did not talk about, Huggie, is the mental health in the Black community. I have a friend who talks about how Black people don't need therapy, and I was like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Black people don't need therapy. I said, while Black people probably don't commit suicide at the same rates of other cultures and other people, our mental health issues reflect in our communities. The violence that is a part of our culture, the promiscuity, the just overall dysfunction. That's how our mental health issues manifest. Not necessarily through suicide or anything like that, but it does manifest itself. And that's another thing we don't talk about is mental health and how important it is for us to be in our right minds.
Exactly.
Black people don't talk about, there's no bipolar disorder to Black people. Depression. What are you talking about? You're depressed.
Right.
You know, like, you don't have that freedom to talk about how you feel.
I'm gonna tell you where that came from. That came from the pro-Black people who try to tell people, well, you went through slavery, so there's no such thing as that. It's called post-traumatic slave disorder.
What?
And that's what they came with it. Now, don't get me wrong, because some people at that time, because that's so far removed that don't even exist in this era. Like, maybe at the time when they were just getting free, I get it, but not now.
Yeah.
Like, this generation that never experienced that entire era of what happened, that don't even exist. And my thing is that there's no denying that after slavery, we had a strong Black family unit that was at a majority that existed. So where we went wrong? Well,
even during slavery.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, like, you can look at the stats that there was a mother and a father, and we don't like to talk about that. And when that dynamic had changed was in the 70s. Like, I always tell Lawrence, or the late 60s or so, when the Black man was pushed out of the home, I always tell Lawrence that if you really think about it, Huggie, and you probably know a lot about history, is that the Civil War never ended. Never. Or not Civil War, excuse me, Civil Rights.
The Civil Rights movement, yeah, exactly.
It never ended. It just kind of got taken over by the women's liberation movement. And this is something that happens with Black people all the time. Movements that we start for ourselves end up getting taken over by liberals, mostly.
Liberal white women.
Right. And they sit back and they be like, look at y'all just doing this for no reason. And they watch this. It's kind of like watching everything develop. It's kind of like watching the KKK look at what Black people do to each other. Like, who
needs the KKK? Who needs that?
Yeah, because they not run. They not, and then, trust me, they try to make an excuse about, like, oh, they're leaving weapons in the middle of nowhere. Stop it. Let's just say they did.
Mhm.
Like, why you just won't take those guns and fight the right battle? If that's the case.
True.
But let's just say you did find like some guns in the alleyway. Let's just be real here. Like, let's just take that shit and let's keep it in the house. Let's stock. They keep bringing us.
Mhm.
They keep bringing us help. It's kind of like the government keep paying you. Keep that money. Save that money, or buy the product. Buy something that you can store. Like eventually, after month after month after month, the government is gonna learn that we're helping them. We need to stop this. You know what I'm saying? We got the food, we got the product, we got the natural resources, we got the weaponry. We gave it all to them instead of killing each other and spending all the money at Walmart, all these Kroger and Sam's Club. They
They
did
built on
that.
it.
They built on it. So now we've made communities to where they don't really need us now. So let's stop giving it. No, no, they already know. Like, yeah, you're gonna take that $400-$500 for your 3 kids, and you're gonna blow it all at Walmart, and you're gonna have so much food left over, you're gonna eventually throw that shit away
Mm-mm.
and things of that nature. So that's why I said, if you
I've
really want to
never been
stop,
one of those people who cared about that stuff, though, Huggy. I believe in complete 100% accountability. I don't care how much drugs. If you claim the government put drugs in the black community, fine, whatever. They put drugs in the black community. You didn't have to smoke them. You didn't have to use them. And that's the part that black people don't seem to. I understand. I understand our system has never, like, at one point, systemic racism, which means that the government participated and interfered with our ability to move forward. However, you didn't have to do it. We didn't have to destroy our own communities. We didn't have to
exactly,
do that.
right?
And then people like to say, oh, because I don't say the N word. So, they say that the white man created the N word, and they're just the monster that they created. And I said, do you realize what you're saying when you say things like that?
Exactly.
You're saying that black people are inferior when you say stuff like that. So why would you say that? And I say no one is more defeated before they ever get out into the world, except more than the black boy. Before he ever walks out into the world, he is already defeated. He's already told that he's not going to be successful, that he's going to have to compete with someone, even if it's not true. There's no one building the black boy up to become the men that black girls and black women need.
Right.
Because that black mother, she sees the man that left her. She sees the father that left her, so she pours all of that into her son.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there is so much that goes into it, and it's a cycle that can be broken, but it starts with acknowledging, yes, there's a problem. Yes, I can fix it. And that's how I even got started on all of this, because while I was never ratchet, I was never one of those girls that was promiscuous and out there in the streets. I had to learn how to respect men, more specifically my husband. I was one of those women who belittled their husband because I didn't know any better. That's what I saw. I saw my dad didn't wear the pants in the relationship. My mom did. So I tried to rule over and dominate my husband. It wasn't until I started listening to men who helped me understand, like Tommy. And I changed because I realized that, and I was going to pour that into my daughters.
Right.
And so it's a matter of wanting to change, seeing the problem and realizing your part in the problem and fixing it. But that's hard. That is so hard. It's so hard to look in the mirror and say you suck.
Right.
Tell yourself that you suck.
Yeah.
And we live in a society today that tells us that black girls rock. And don't get me wrong, black girls do rock. However, there is so much stuff that we as black women get away with just for the sake of being black. Like this whole single mother thing. There is nothing cute, special, or strong about being a single mom.
Exactly.
That's not something that should be. I don't understand it, because I always say that it can't be both. You can't say that the reason why the black family or the black communities are so jacked up is because there's no fathers, and then say, oh, single mothers are the backbone of the community. So which is it?
Yeah, we got this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we got this. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's the thing, though. If you got this, then hold that title. Cause my thing
no,
is
it's a
that
broken
see when you make a LeBron, when you make a LeBron, the mother was the single mother that raised him wants to take all the credit when he becomes A guy that goes to jail, oh, it's because his daddy went around.
Mm-mm.
Or the white man.
You see what I'm saying? And that's the thing about people like Tommy. Like, people gotta understand that me, Kelly, Lawrence, we don't agree with everything he say. But you'll be a fool to say he don't have a point. Sometime he has a point.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to agree with everything. Listen. I forever will not watch him go at Melanie Sutek. I love Melanie Sutek. I'm not gonna ever watch him talk about her. But I don't gotta hate him because I don't agree with what he did with Melanie. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is that you have to turn off what you don't like about a person and say, you know what, I can respect this point. Because at the end of the day, single motherhood is not a good idea. Period.
No.
And we need men in the household, and men need to be put in the front, because when there's a woman in public, she's about to be attacked. You don't look for Keisha and Andrea to save your life. You look for Maurice and Antonio and Greg. You look for them guys. You ain't looking for no. It's 10 men approaching you. What you gonna do? You looking for girls to save your life? No. You looking for masculine energy. You looking for strength. You looking for somebody to save my life, and it ain't gonna be women. Yeah, you might run across some women who got pistols and shit, but that's rare. Let's just be honest here. This is why every time in a movie they always got the man saving the woman. Every time. Now, what I did like about movies like Black Panther is that they step in front and they fight with, not for. You see what I'm saying? They fight with their man, and even though they respect the king, they respect the leader, and they're willing to defend that. You see what I'm saying? That's something to be admired. It ain't about, oh, the woman is in front or the man is behind. No. They're fighting with the leader. They fighting with the man. They're not fighting against him, and that's something I noticed. They didn't fight against nothing that the king, like when the guy is in rulership and when he's the king, they don't go against that. No matter what it switched from one person to the next, they bowing down. It is what it is. We're not arguing with this. And that's how it should be. But it's America, I guess. Because I know it's like this worldwide, but let's just be real. In America, we got a real big problem. And it's enablers. It's enablers. It's people who make excuses. And nobody wants to change anything.
The fix, because you can't fix the whole world. However, I believe that just changing one person, you change their entire life and that of their family tree. So you're impacting lives. If you can help someone to change the direction of their life, you're impacting their entire family tree. So we can't diminish how important it is to change or to have even one person listen, because that's a huge impact. So what do we do? Like, how can you help? What's the remedy?
The remedy is that, well, we could say like, okay, let's just for example, we could fight for our right to help you and try to fix these things, but just like we have the enablers to do things wrong to us, we need enablers to help you, if that makes sense. Because we got a lot of people that are able to come in our home and rape our kids, abuse our kids, mistreat our kids, and women alike. So can we have some enablers that allow men to help, prosper, build, provide? And if they can't do that, then leave them alone. Because those are the ones you need to be kicking to the curb. The ones that don't benefit you, that don't help you, that don't bring anything to your life, that don't instill values and things of that nature. Because, like I said, it'd be nice to have some guys that are opposite than R. Kelly that do bring these women around and actually give them opportunities, give them places to stay, give them places to go to work, a job, and things of that nature. If you feel what I'm saying. I'm not trying to compare, but you get what I'm saying, right?
Behave. You're right.
Well, so we need more enablers of positivity, of growth. That's what we need.
I agree.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. So mental, and I said that there should be more things talked about. I like the fact you brought up mental health. that needs to be brought up a lot more. A
Mm-hmm.
lot more. And trust
Right.
me, I deal with depression. I've been in denial about it for many years. I think a lot of us have.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a product of a person who has stress, been stressful, and it was a YouTuber, Bugs. He was just in here, Boogeyman Bugs. He mentioned therapy, and I was proud to hear somebody else say something I thought about in this
Mm-hmm.
community over here. And he was like, and I was thinking like, man, I need to get therapy too. There ain't nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with talking to someone. There's nothing wrong with getting help. Because sometimes we all don't have it figured out, and it's okay. Speak to someone, speak to a friend, talk to somebody. If you feel like somebody has a problem, pick up a phone. Hey, how you doing? Like I got a habit of just saying, hey, how you doing? You okay? You good?
Yeah.
It might not be everybody, but I'll just randomly text, hey, you good? I ain't seen you in a while. You okay? How you feeling? It'd be nice if we just did that to everybody.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's also about creating that environment to where you can. I like I posted, and you know my story, Huggy, that I've shared in my life, that I've suffered from depression since I was a little girl. Like the first time that I ever experienced commit suicide, I was 6 years old, 6 or 7,
Wow.
6 or 7 years old. You know, so and that's a reality, and now we see it. Kids of all ages and all nationalities are killing themselves at 7, 8, 9. A little girl, 9-year-old, just hung herself not too long ago. One thing that we as Black people don't do is create a safe place for our children to come and express their feelings, their hurts, their experiences. We don't have that,
Wow.
and that's something you have to create. You know, I don't know how Lawrence and I have figured it out, but we're like literally actively trying to be the direct opposite of what our parents were. We do a lot of talking to our kids, you know, because we didn't have that option to talk. Like if our
Yeah.
if our children make bad choices, we talk to them first, right? We don't
Hmm.
just beat them, you know, like we want
Exactly.
them to understand and be able to communicate, you know, give them a
And
place to where they can say, hey mom, that wasn't right, or mom, you were wrong, or you know, you're lying. Like when I was a kid, I could never tell my mom that she was lying, even if she was lying. However,
Right.
we don't have that dynamic with our children. If I'm wrong, I want my children to tell me, mom, you're not right. You know,
Right.
stand if you can stand up to your mom, and Lawrence said this to me the other day, if you can stand up to your parents, you can stand up to anybody, you know.
I know I have.
yeah,
I
You can
mean,
stand up to anybody.
and the biggest thing with us is that we're honest with ourselves. You know, I think that's what a lot of people lack. They lack honesty within their own selves,
right.
to be vulnerable with their own selves, to admit that I need to do this differently, or maybe I'm too much of this and I need to reel it back. You know, people have been lying to themselves to make themselves believe like every single aspect of yourself is just perfect and fine as is. And that's not the case, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly. And I want to speak about this before we go. What do y'all think about physical punishment?
Oh, yeah, this is a great topic. So, before we ever had kids, I told Lawrence that I did not want to physically discipline our children. Like, I was like, oh, I don't want to hit my kids. I don't want to do that, because I had a lot of emotional issues with being hit as a kid. I felt like I was worthless, that it didn't mean anything, that I was something to be, like I didn't matter, because of all the spankings that we would get. But I think that was because, there was no communication. However, my husband, he's pro spanking. I'm
Right.
not. Like I
I'll
have
tell you
a
now. If we were in the WWE, I'd be the Undertaker.
Well, I mean, to a certain extent. Let's just say to a certain extent. Like, you're not going to be
Yeah,
like,
I'm just joking though.
yeah. Because I feel like it depends on how the discipline is given.
I think
So
very no, yeah, for
yeah,
real,
like if
it's
you
physical distance is necessary, but I feel like you
For
should take
very, very
steps,
specific situations.
and they should understand and know. Like I'm like being so serious. We talk to our kids so much because we want to make sure they understand. And by the time it gets to the point where you're getting a spanking, you clearly know why. There's
right,
never any there's never any wondering like why am I getting spanked today? My parents don't love me. I don't ever there's something I never want my kids to experience in their minds. There's something horrible about growing up as a child thinking that nobody loves you.
right,
And I
Yep.
felt like that. So, and if you beat a kid and you don't reciprocate love, there's more yelling and spankings than there is those regular conversations and time spent. You're going to have that kid who grows up feeling unloved. So with
exactly,
balance, I think spanking is necessary. There should be communication with it as well.
indeed.
That's it.
Well,
And you also need actual rules in place. You know, I didn't know what the rules were for me growing up, if there are rules at all. You know, you just
right,
got your ass beat whenever you did something wrong, whatever it quote unquote wrong was at the time. You know, something I say to my kids is that when you don't abide by the rules don't apply to you. So
exactly,
the rules are no one gets spankings. But if you are not abiding by the rules, well then why does the rule that you don't get spankings apply as well?
right,
We like to talk. I literally beg my kids to, not do certain things, not act certain ways. But I don't really want to spank them. I don't spank them for just being kids. But
right. I probably had to
it,
whoop my child once, and I remember my dad. My dad brought this to my attention. We talking about a dad used to whoop my ass. So, but as I got older, and I got my own kid. He's like, "Hey man," I looked at like physical punishment to a certain extent. It's a form of slavery, and I never thought of it
That's
like
not the
that
whole
until,
time.
and I never thought of it like that until he brought it to my attention. Like I said, you got a point. He said, man, my mom used to get stitching cords.
Mm-hmm.
That's a beating. That's not even a whooping.
Yep.
And like if it brings that type of pain to you, it's out of fear. But that's what slavery
Mm-hmm.
does. Switches. You were just put in the chat switches, stitching cords. I got a fire extinguisher thrown at me. I got
I
punched.
got a piece of wood broken over my body, a 2x4 broken
Ooh,
over my
a
body.
two by four.
Yep. Because my dad got upset about something that I had said, and the reason why slave masters use physical abuse is because pain is a good deterrent. If you put your hand on fire, it's gonna hurt, and you're gonna know not to do it again.
Right.
However, it's also a means of control and ownership. And I always wanted my children to follow what I say and believe what we say. Because they trust us and because they respect us. Ruling by fear is only temporary. I'm gonna get grown one day. You're not gonna be able to beat me forever. So yeah, I mean, I feel like you're really able to see what kind of parent you are when your children don't have to listen to you anymore.
yep.
Wow. Damn. That's crazy. Well, oh man, this is very, very refreshing. I'm so happy to have y'all here finally. If y'all ever want to come back, any topic y'all want to bring, y'all are always welcome to come back. Y'all need to do a reality show for YouTube. Y'all knew it was coming. Y'all need to do a reality show for YouTube, and just come on back on Kellie Speaks and just continue where you left off, and just keep it rolling. You could do your thing and then just do some like vlogging. Like that'd be dope. Like hey, the naysayers, you proved them wrong. So if they come
Yeah.
back around, just say, look, this live right here will explain everything. I'm not talking about that no more. It's old. It's not old, but to y'all, it needs to be old. I don't want to discuss it no more. Let me just leave it at
I
that.
hear
Now
you.
I'll discuss it on my time. Y'all come to my channel when I'm doing other stuff. When y'all come here talking about this, we ain't talking about that. We're gonna talk about that when I feel like it. Don't give them your energy too. I've been learning about that. Don't give people your energy. Give it to them when you feel like it. When you feel like it, it's able to be received a certain way, and you don't have to be. You won't drain yourself from it. So I learned to speak when being spoken to and share your opinions and you know give the opinion and speak about things when you feel like it, and it makes you comfortable. When you do it out of anger, when you do it and you're rushing yourself and you're forcing yourself to speak, it drains your energy. And I learned that a lot of times I would say certain things when I really don't want to. Like I respond to people when I shouldn't. I do it when I feel like it, so it's more like woosah. And then I say what I gotta say. And then I turn the camera off and I feel normal. Like I did it when the time was right. So yeah, I think y'all should just bring that to YouTube. Like spread that. That'll go viral. Like y'all easily get 10,000 subscribers, and by the summer y'all have 10,000 subscribers guaranteed. Just make it, and then like edit the videos, make them like 10-minute episodes every other day. You know what I'm saying? Break it down, show what you want to show, remove what you don't want to. It'll be dope. Very dope. Just my personal opinion. I would support that 100%. I'm just letting it be known.
Well, thank you so much for having us on, Huggie. I always like to talk to you. You're always refreshing as well, and always logical, and you're always neutral in the sense that you don't, you're not extreme, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not the high extreme level of Mecto. I'm the guy that's at the middle. I'm at the bottom where I want to have a relationship. I just want to have it where I'm satisfied, if that makes sense. I want to do things that are acceptable to me and others. I don't want to be like standards. Yeah, exactly. And that's all it is. Like at that bottom level, that's all it is. I'm just not going to conform to somebody's agenda. It needs to be something that we both agree on.
Mm-hmm. In the future, Huggie, I do want to have a conversation with you. It's a lot lighter topic, but I want to. Lawrence brought up something. Do you feel like women should pay for dates?
You bring that up now.
Should women to pay? Pay for? Oh yeah, let's get it.
Bring that up
what? Pay for what? No, we can do that now. Women should pay for what now? What was that? What was the question?
Go ahead, Lawrence.
Go ahead, Lawrence. What's up?
Okay.
Drum roll.
If you and a woman, right?
Right.
It's non-specified whether it's platonic or otherwise. Go out somewhere. Who should pay?
Dutch.
Exactly.
Dutch. If I decide to pay, I decide. If I don't, I'm not. And what you gonna do about it? We ain't together. I've done that. Like I've had like friendly dinners with coworkers. Like, oh, we going out to eat. You got your own. But sometimes there has been times I'll be like, I'm gonna pay for food because I just want to. I don't have to.
I think it's super complicated, and it's case by case. I should say, right? If we're going somewhere, McDonald's, right? I order, and I'm really fucking fired up about this. If I order an apple pie, a $1 apple pie, and you order a Big Mac, full combo, that means one of two things. You paying for all of it, or you paying for yours?
I see where you going. Cause like, why you just go buy, you just gonna order the big, you ordering like that, like you got some money, like that's $7-8, yo. Big Mac is not $5 combos no more, yo.
If you whoever orders more than the other person, it's on them to either pay for all of it or break it apart. You either got to be in the middle, or
Me personally, my thing is, and let me say this because I don't want them to get away with this. Let me look in the camera when I say this. Women, if you do this, it would be nice to know that if there's men that are willing to pay for your food, even in a situation where there's no relationship, y'all just friendly, just having a date, pay for the food. Get the stereotype off our back for once. Pay for your food. There's nothing wrong with that.
Man,
anything wrong with that? I want to know.
Nah, what I said was, because I'm a little more traditional, I will be honest. I said that I feel like men should pay for dates. However,
I can't believe you bring this up at the last minute. That's pissing me off.
I love it though. We need that.
I said that women pay for dates. However, the woman should come prepared to pay. You know what I'm saying? She should not come to the table with nothing, with no money. She knows she's going out to eat. She knows she's going on a date. So she should bring something with her. However, I do believe the guy should pay. But if the guy does not, I feel like she should offer and then give the opportunity to the guy to say, okay, yeah, pay for it. You know.
Well, I can feel you on that. I'm not knocking that because I'm gonna be like,
but
nah.
She should offer, and if you let her pay, then she should be okay with that too. But I still think I should pay. She should be ready.
Or I'll get the next thing.
Or we can take turns. We can go Dutch. I get that, but I'm just saying she should be prepared. If we're going out on a date, right? You're like, hey, I want to go out with you. I'm going to bring my own money, of course, but I think that men should pay. But that's just because I'm a little more old school. That's all.
Nah.
She should be prepared to pay. I'm not saying she shouldn't come with any money and she should get an attitude and never date you again because you didn't pay for her food. But I feel like it's so gentlemanly and it's so,
I want to know why that makes him a gentleman just if he buy the food.
Because it's like, you know how back in the day you come to the girl's house, you pick her up, and you take her to the movies and to dinner, and you pay for it, and I don't know, it's just like part of that traditional, like the whole line of dating.
Okay.
Keyword tradition. Keep that in mind. Don't let her get away with that,
Lauren. That's why I think that because I'm a little more traditional. Put a weight spin on your tradition.
No,
it's to bring some money just in case. Just in case. I want you to pay for it, but I'll pay for it too if you want me to. That's how I feel about it.
I agree. However, women like traditional values up until it comes to them maintaining their traditional values.
Exactly.
No. See, this is one of the things we disagree on. Lauren said I do not disagree or agree on everything. We totally don't like this topic. I feel just like Miss TT said, if he's into you, he'll pay, but don't expect it. Exactly. I'm saying that I feel like the guy should pay, but you should bring money with you to be prepared to pay. And it shouldn't be a deal breaker if he doesn't want to pay for the food. That's all.
I bet it's a women
that
don't pay shit.
I don't expect you to do it. I want you to. I think a guy should pay. I'm going to bring money with me just in case.
That's sexist.
Most guys, I think, don't have a problem. No, I just don't think that most guys have a problem with paying for food. I just don't.
Look at what Shante just said.
I'm going to pay for it.
Look at what Shante just said. What if the woman pays, then the man might think he can get over on her by seeing how he. So why is it only stereotypical for a woman to pay, and it's a negative? It's a negative idea. Exactly. Why is it not a gesture that a woman just wants to do something for a man? Why not? It's just food. It's just like if a woman. It's just like this, right? For example, we all know that there's women who with guys and they have relationships and they'll cook for everybody in the house. Do we look at that as the woman did cook for everybody, and it could be his friend? Like is it not a nice gesture for a man to come over that's a friend of your man and you cooking and he get a plate? How do we feel about that? I'm curious.
Okay, say that one more time, honey. I'm sorry.
A woman that's cooking for her man and just so happen has a friend coming over and you make him a plate. Is that a bad thing to do? Is that negative as well?
No.
No, if we're all eating.
What's up, Jess?
Why is that bad?
What's up, everybody?
Yo.
Hi.
What's up? Kellie, is that how you pronounce your name?
It is.
Okay, and other gentleman on the phone, who how you pronounce your name?
Lawrence.
Lawrence. Hey, Lawrence, how you doing?
Good.
If I'm correct, Kellie and Lawrence are together?
It's my
Yeah.
husband, yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay,
Yeah, where you been at, Jess?
I didn't want.
You been on a rock?
You know what? I've been dealing with the kids. I've been, when you live, sometimes I go in and out. If you stay live, I'm definitely jumping back into the chat to check you out.
I feel you.
And today, it's just getting prepared for work. Monday.
Understandable.
So
yeah, understandable. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
what do you think about that, Jess? Like, if a woman makes a plate for her boyfriend's friend, if that's not a bad, do you think it's a bad thing? I'm asking you.
no, I don't think it's a bad thing at all.
But we just had a comment. We just had a comment from Shante that said if a woman pays for a man's food, he feel like he can get over.
No, see, here's the double standard, right? Here's the double standard. Here's the double standard. Now, if a man and a woman goes out on a date, and if the man don't pay for the dinner, now that's the big negative. But vice versa, it's not. Why?
Well, it's not necessarily a date. It's a date, but it's not a is it really a date if y'all just going out just having a good time?
No, Lawrence is just saying if there's no committed relationship.
No committed relationship. There's no date here.
Gray area between friendship and non-friendship, and it's not been specified.
Right.
Oh.
What do you think about that, Jess?
Well, you know what? I've been in many situations like that, and I just, just to be safe, I always pay for the meal because I want to leave an impression. So that's just me. Because traditions says that we supposed to pay for the food. So forget it.
Who made that tradition though?
I don't know. It's just yeah, that's weird, huh? I don't know. It's
because throughout centuries, men have always been the breadwinners, and why not just buy the food? We had it, always had it, and we still got it. So let's just buy it.
And it's romantic and it's chivalrous. Whatever. Forgive me for being like a little bit of a romantic, a little bit. I still believe in traditional roles. I still think guys should hold doors open for girls. I still think that guys should open car doors for girls or women, whatever. I'm still into that. But however, that doesn't mean I'm not going to hold the door open for you.
Till we get off this call. You wait till we get off this call.
Jess.
Now let me ask a question.
You got issues in the background. Is that CJ getting on you? CJ getting on you in the background?
No. She's at work actually. She's at work right now.
You cheating? What are you doing in the background? What's going on over there, Jess?
I'm not. Let me turn on the camera because
turn the camera on, yo. Yeah, turn the camera on. Yeah. Hey, where you at?
Right
who in
now.
that passenger seat, bro? Get the camera over there, bro. What's going on over there?
Nothing, bro.
Okay. What she done? Somebody ducking in the backseat. Who was that? No, I'm playing with you.
Is that you?
Yeah, I'm playing with you. No, seriously. I know. So seriously, my thing is that let me
ask the question. Go ahead. Let me ask the question.
Go ahead.
To the husband and wife and to everybody. Now, I've been in situations to where I was the breadwinner. Then it was situations to where my wife was the breadwinner. Is it a negative for women to be the breadwinner and to take care of all the bills and the father stay home? Is that a super?
Exactly.
Anybody else got an opinion on it? Because I've been in situations like that.
No, I feel like in this day and age, it's more likely that you will have alternate roles. I feel no issue with a woman being the breadwinner in the family. However, I will say that it's important that the burden of stress is not all on the woman, because women and men don't handle stress the same way. Men can deal with stress better than women, especially when it comes to finances. Like for me personally, I will freak the F out if I can't pay my bills. Whereas a man is more likely to be calm, cool, and collected and say, we're going to figure this out. I'm just freaking out. So I don't see a problem with a woman for a while. Do I feel like she should be the only one doing it all the time? No, I don't. No.
Okay, so I'm not stay at home there. What's up, bro?
Good answer.
Well, my thing is that I've always been the type that I felt like if we're both gonna do work, I should make more money. But if she makes more money, is that a bad thing also?
No, it's not a bad thing, Huggy. Because it like in our day and age, things are different. Like versus back in the day, women didn't even have rights. This is where this conversation comes from, when women did not have rights back in those days, when women couldn't vote, women couldn't talk, women couldn't do nothing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But when women stepped up and start having a voice, now it's time to praise our women. It was so this is where this conversation stemmed from. You know what I'm saying? Because the men always had control. They always went out to make money. All the woman's job was to do was stay home and take care of the kids. Not so in this day and age. Like my wife right now, she's going to school, she's working, and she's taking care of the kids. You know what I'm saying? So it's a big difference.
Oh, you the stay-at-home dad, huh?
Huh?
You the stay-at-home dad? Is that what you telling us?
I've been home with the kids. Yeah. Lately, I've been home more with the kids lately, but we have people to help us take care of the kids, like when we're out taking care of business. But I'm planning on going back to school and finish up my drug and alcohol counseling. I went to school for drug and alcohol counseling, and I'm going to get my degree. I'm only a couple of credits away from a degree. And I'm about to start my job back up at 7-Eleven. So again, I'm going to be out too. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to me and my wife, one thing we have never done is argue about money. Like we don't have money. We're in the projects. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I don't care to say that. You know what I'm saying? But one thing we don't do is argue about food, money, material things. So what we don't have, we make. God blessed us with life, and we just go out there and try to get it done, and we're blessed people, period. We're blessed people. I've growing up, I've seen people, husband and wife, argue about money and this and this and that. Man, we pay our bills, and we humble, and we're humble, so we catch those buses and we humble, period. So I congratulate. I just take off my hat to my wife. She's 7 months pregnant, going on 7 months pregnant, and she's still working, and she's going back to school. So I got to catch up with her.
Yeah, I feel you on that. But yeah, so you're gonna be selling big goats. Pause.
Yep, I am. I am.
I hate we don't have a 7-Eleven here. We used to have one, but we don't have one here in Memphis no more.
Man, it's so many 7-Elevens on some blocks. It's like 3 of them on one block. Literally.
Wow. We ain't got one here. We used to have one. I ain't seen that shit since I was in elementary school. You know what I mean? I tell you one thing, Jess, you need to get you a 9-volt battery. You keep coffee.
I know, huh?
Put a one in the chat if y'all think Jess need to get a damn 9-volt battery.
I'm surprised ain't nobody do a video about me on that. Kelly, I gotta ask you guys, do you guys do YouTube or something? I'm like, what do you guys do?
Well, I used to. I guess last year I had one video. I had made a video that went viral about my take and perspective on single moms, but I've always been a part of the community of talking about issues within the Black community. I just never made videos. And I do have a YouTube channel, but because of some extenuating circumstances that we already talked about, I stopped making them. So yes and no.
Why? Because of the community, people inside the community?
Well, we actually talked about that earlier. I wish you were here.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to be, but then it started getting loud, and I had to start taking care of my kid business. Yeah, so, but what I learned is that because when I first started doing YouTube, I used to hate the negative, the criticism, the back and forth and stuff. But then a part of me said, you know what? This is part of YouTube. People are going to criticize me, just like a regular job, So, and I start ignoring it, and then I start accepting it. You got to accept, you don't have to accept the negativity or the positive. You don't have to accept any of it. You can walk away from it, or you can understand it. So I understand exactly what's happening when people have this comment. It's just a comment. So, for that, I look at it and listen, and it helps to grow me because I'm understanding what my audience like or dislike, so, and I pride my platform off of allowing people to have a voice, and so 17,000 subscribers later, I'm going to push towards even 100,000. So that's just my goal.
Right. And I totally understand that, Jess. I am really huge on being honest with myself. And one thing I can admit is that I am honest, kind of to a fault, but I'm extremely, extremely nice and extremely, extremely sensitive. And there's only so much I can take. And I was just honest with myself about that. Like when it starts affecting your emotional health, you kind of just have to step back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm too sensitive for the whole trolling. I can't deal. Only a certain amount, but when it becomes personal and the doxing and then giving stuff about your personal life and stuff like that, I can't do that.
Right. Yeah,
and that's
where there's people out there that does that, and when they tried that with me. They tried that with me. Had the facts all wrong, and Huggie knows. Huggie knows how they try to Tiffany, and we friends now. YouTube friends. I call it YouTube friends. We're YouTube friends now, but yeah, they tried it with me. Said I was in jail for attempt murder, and I beat up my wife, and I beat up my kids, and all types of nonsense. But I responded, but it didn't bother me because people are only going to know just 33 King production. They're not going to know Julius. Julius is a whole different person. I give him a character that I choose to give him. And if I choose to talk about something personal in my life, then I'm going to. But if somebody want to go out and try to dig up a past or something like that, I just look at them and laugh because it's not going to stop me. It's not going to make me feel bad or feel this or feel that. I'm going to just talk about you, So, but I understand. I understand what you're saying.
I'm just too sensitive, and the way that I ran my platform was in a space of honesty because I believe in change. So it's like if I want, the way I ran my platform was real. This is my real life. This is my real husband. These are my real issues. This is me. You know what I'm saying? I put myself out there because I do have a lot of things that I've done in my life that I'm not proud of. A lot of experiences that a lot of Black people don't want to talk about. And I felt like we should talk about them. There's too many secrets. There's too much silence. And to have those same things that I made myself vulnerable with and talk to people about. And it's not if that did what they did, it's the people that were a part of the community that did what they did, if that makes sense. So it's it's easy to fight. It's easy to fight your enemies. It's hard to fight your friends.
Right. So it is. At the end of the day, if you was, how many subscribers you have?
I have no idea because I don't make videos anymore.
I think it's about
like 500 or so.
Yeah, I think about 600. Yeah, but we are coming back, right, Kellie? We are.
Gonna come back, Huggie. Yes.
Good. Yes, come back.
Good. Come back because guess what? Just like this is the best time to do it now because of the R. Kelly thing. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that's the lane that you should go in, but you're a young woman. You're a Black young woman who have the power of these radio waves. So there's a lot of women that's going to be saved, a lot of women that's going to be stopped from doing something negative because of your voice, because of your experience. So I'm here to tell you that we need you in YouTube to talk about your experience or other people's experience and to show these women how not to go down that road or whatever platform you want to create. Or I mean, this is the best time, you know what I'm saying? Because you have that experience of whatever you went through, you know what I'm saying? So, and whatever that is, you can talk about it, and that's real shit. Me and my wife, we experienced a lot. My wife, she's Black and white, but she's more, I want to say she's more from a white side because she was just raised by white folks. But and I shouldn't say but, and we both of us have experienced racism, hate because we're together, all types of weird stuff. You know what I'm saying? And all we want to do is just live and grow and love our children, you know, and be successful. You know what I'm saying? That's all we want. You know, I don't see color. I don't see black and white. You know what I'm saying? And the only thing that on my platform I dislike, because I accept all comments, whether it's negative or positive. The only thing I won't accept is racism or somebody talking bad about kids. That's it. That's it. But other than that, man, it's all game, free game. You know what I'm saying? So, um, even when I was going through that stuff with Tiffany, when she was talking very negative and rough about my children and stuff, Huggie stood up for me in the gap when I didn't even know Huggie yet. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even know, and he reached out to my family. You know what I'm saying? Says just King, all right. And I thought that was some real shit. And I'ma always say that when we're in this mode, when I'm talking about Huggie or somebody else. That's why I would never be a YouTube enemy with Huggie, because he talked to my real family to look out for me to make sure I was all right, and was gonna put up some money to get me out of jail when I didn't even need it because I wasn't in jail for 10 murder. So I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
You're right. Yeah. So it was a misunderstanding, and we cleared it up. And you know, I think I had mentioned the interview to you, Kelly. This is the guy that had the 8-hour interview. And I told him I'm real good on, hey, is it something you don't want to talk about? You don't want to talk about that. But I'm kind of glad we did, because it kind of opened the door for everybody to know exactly what happened and what's going on.
Because they thought I was in jail for attempt murder, beating up my wife and beating up my kids. And unfortunately, when I say we experience racism, it's from family, you know, and a family member of my wife. And, you know, it's known. And you know, he lied to Tiffany, and Tiffany took it and put extras on it and put it out there, and you know, and it was just like they said I was beat up real bad, now up old drug dealers stuff, and it was just a straight lie. It was just basically for publicity and for views and for likes and stuff. But when it comes to but when people see me, like literally the next day, I wasn't in jail, and my face still looked very handsome. I was still looking like that young, fly, pretty boy. You know what I'm saying? Holla at your boy. You know?
Yeah. Well, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate you, Jess. Kelly, Lawrence, I appreciate y'all for tuning in and coming through and sharing your story. Hopefully, if everybody's watching this, y'all can learn a lot from this. This is very, 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 you know, thought-provoking. It's very needed. Mental health. You know, marriages, kids, parent growth, family, culture. This is what's needed right here, and I'm really thankful, and I really appreciate y'all a whole lot for just coming through and sharing this with the audience that we have here.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, and Jess,
gotta do it again soon, Huggie, for sure.
Anytime y'all want to come through, just say the word. Trust me, I got you. And if y'all need, anything,
cool.
Yeah. Jess, I appreciate you for coming through. I'm gonna tell CJ about that girl in the back seat. I appreciate you for coming through.
Oh, y'all see it. Nobody in the back seat. Huggie been trying to set me up for a long time. He been trying to set me up, bro.
But anyway, I appreciate you for coming through as well.
All right, my brother. I holla at y'all. Nice to meet you, Kelly. Nice to meet everybody. Holla at your boy. It's your boy, Just 33 King Production, and I'm out. Peace.
Right, peace with you, bro.
I guess.
All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all for coming through. I'm gonna do a roll call with the people. Like I said, anytime y'all need me, just contact me. I'll be here if y'all need anything.
Thank you again, Huggie. Ditto, for sure.
You're welcome. Thank you as well. All right, Law.
Yep.
All right,
Bye, everybody.
That was beautiful. Truly, 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 truly beautiful. Truly, truly beautiful. What do y'all think about that? That was just marvelous. Golf clap, golf clap. Golf clap. Golf clap. Whew. God damn. 24-7? Damn it, Andrew Luck, you ain't done nothing today? Oh my God, the Chiefs are just kicking ass right now. Come on, Andrew Luck, can you pull off a Peyton Manning? Can you put up 3 touchdowns in 4 minutes? Hey, listen, yo. The Colts is getting their ass kicked right now. So much for all that good defense shit, huh? And the rookie Patrick Mahomes playing like an MVP. He don't got a touchdown though. I'm assuming the defense must got touchdowns. He don't got a touchdown pass. Anyway, we gonna do a GoFundMe for Jess King smoke detector battery. Y'all think we should do it? Let's do a GoFundMe for a smoke detector for a fucking 9-volt battery, yo. How about that? Let's do roll call if I can. TT, how you doing this evening? Miss Helen Casey, Kenesha, Lamar Brand TV, Teresa Ware, Layla Pacino, Foot Soldier, aka Joyce, in the building. Receipt City in the building. Margot. J Mac in the building. Young J, what's good, bro? Tiffany Brown, hey, how you doing? Fire Goddess in the building. We have Ellen. Is that how you say your name? It's Ellen MYB. What does MYB mean? Mind your business. Anyway, Big Dog, what's happening, bro? I think that's it. Sandra Love, what's good this evening? Miss Rio, make sure y'all subscribe. Let me go get that right quick. Hold on. Let me go get that. Go back down here. I'm about to scroll back up. Give me a second before I forget. Make sure y'all subscribe. What's up to Miss Rio? Justice. On the page. Black Snowflake, what's good? What's good? What's good? How you doing this evening? We're gonna go back to roll call in a second. Gotta make sure y'all subscribe to Justice for. Am I saying it right? Is it nay or nah? Let's go back up to roll call. It's the roll call. Where we left off at? Boom, right here. Kiara, aka Dylon, in the building. Sheikah Jones, what's good this evening? I think that's it. Let's see, I'm looking for some new face. Shantae Franklin, how you doing this evening? Miss Angel, how you doing this evening? Julio, how you doing this evening? Nate Booty, how you doing this evening? Julio's over here like, nigga, you speak to everybody, bro. You can't holler at your boy. And that's it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody hit that like button. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'm finna hit up SMK. See if I can bring him over here. Hopefully he's available. We can do us a good 30-40 minute, interview with him. We'll talk about many things, such as his come up in music as a producer in Memphis, pioneering the Timberland sound, and amongst many things. We're gonna get into that interview hopefully. In the meantime, everything that's said out of my mouth, I stand by it. It might be some things that you don't like. Well, that's what it's about when you come to YouTube. Everything a person says is not gonna be agreeable. So trust me, I'm pretty sure some people that don't like what I said. But I mean what I say what I mean. I appreciate y'all for coming through. What's up, Nova? Hey. Alright, so last call for alcohol. Pretty girls. The dance floor. Ugly girls. Parking lot. Checking out.